Okay, so we got a pretty interesting question from BF Trade 78 today, where you ask, what time frames do you use to confirm entries outside of a buy signal? So I'll go a little bit in depth here. So for example, today, this is ES 10-minute time frame. We have 9:33 a.m. sell signal and 9:40 market structure for the bearish signal. So we'll take this into a 1 minute time frame. So usually, if I'm day trading, ideally I want to be in the 1 minute time frame because I can see the actions really quickly and very clearly. And some people say it's very fast, but that's how you should be when you're day trading, especially if you're trading futures where you're more likely scalping for 5 to 10 points. And 5 to 10 points in ES could make you $250 to $500. So it's really fast, really quick. So over here around 9:31 to 9:33, we got the X1 sell signals. And once you saw that signal, you want to take a quick look at the chart, see what's going on. And you can see over here, we have this yellow line over here, and that's our first line of support, a moving average. That got broken through with a heavy sell candle. So that's a DHC, a drop heavy candle. And once we break under that, we back tested that support for a tiny second there, and that's ideally where you want to enter, somewhere between here to here, maybe even like 935 area range. If you enter here, you want to ride this down as these drop heavy candles happen. You want to see what will continue. But usually when these big candles happen and invalidates these support levels, like breaking it through butter, that's a very good move in your direction. So naturally, you want to get in, and then your take profit area could either be here at this blue line if it stalls, but it did stall a little bit. But as you can see, we broke it again, more drop heavy candle, and this is where you ideally want to take profit on the 1 minute. Our MOB is usually a line that we want to see utilized a lot more. This is a very strong line, very well respected line most of the time. And as you can see, we came here, we bounced a little bit up, down, and then eventually it broke under the MOB. And it's instead of using the MOB as our support line, our make or break line as a support line, it started using it as a resistance line. Why is there resistance instead of support now? Because the candlestick is under it. So if you're under the water, you're now struggling to go up, right? So that's why it is now a resistance line. So we see a test there, fail, breaking down a little bit, and then attempting another test and fail perfectly. Failing perfectly, what I mean by that is that hitting that area and then just bam, smacks right under it. Didn't even make an attempt to jump over the water here. Like if this was a person, it wasn't even getting its head over the water. It just hit near the top of the water and just got smacked right down. And then, as you can see here, it started hitting this 50 moving average as well as resistance, and that also happened to be double resistance there as well, and that also probably helped and made it hit so much harder. So as you can see, that resistance started going down, breaking down further and further and further, and we kept breaking down. So at this point, we're continuously in that bearish structure that happened at 940, right? So that was over here. So 940 market structure. 940 market structure now suddenly tells you, hey, instead of going long, we need to be shorting against the MOB line. And as you can see here, it worked out pretty well here. And then at this point in range, if you're waiting for market to go long, you now want to see it break over the smaller moving average, which it did there. And then it touched this next level, back tested, rejected that level, back tested here, hit that level, broke over it, and then just when people think everything is good to go, it went to back test, and this is where ideally people will be buying. But as you can see, that back test ended up failing, couldn't break through there, and now it just ended up using this as resistance and going down further, building a double bottom here, and then hitting this resistance here, uh, testing, and eventually broke over, back test, and then came here, broke over, back test, tested, broke over, back test, and then moved over again. So you can see this 1 minute is really, really good if you understand how to read it well. And then if you want to understand why it rejected at that range here, the reason is because in the 5 minute, so a different time frame tells you a different story as well. On the 5 minute, you can clearly see it is struggling to break over this blue line resistance, and it couldn't break over it. That's why we rejected and came back down. And then if you look over here, why it bounced so well here and here is because this is also a 5 minute MOB, that yellow line there. So you can see that played out, and then also use this as resistance here. So different time frame tells you a different story. You can move to the 10-minute time frame. You can also see why those area held as support as well, and why we bounced there. And we also struggle with the 10-minute red moving average there. So that's why when you're day trading, you want to kind of flip through the 1 minute and 5 minute and 10 minute just to see these different time frames, to get a better idea of what the support resistance are, why we're doing such a thing there, and whatnot. And if the 1 minute doesn't have any support under it, ideally you want to move to the 5 minute. If the 5 minute doesn't have any support, for you to find once I start breaking it, you move to the 10 minute, and that tells you the next support zone. If 10 minute now doesn't have any support for you to look for, go to the 30, go to the 48, keep moving. Now 48 has a support here. That tells you why we're holding that range there. And just keep moving. They'll eventually give you a story. The 97 has a support there. You can see that red line, 195, somewhat has the support in that range. 390, I can't even see that well anymore. But you get the idea. Just play with this concept. On the 1 minute now, we are now somewhat bullish. We're moving above these moving averages, using these as support now, as these moving averages has climbed a lot lower. So I think I went too long in this video. I should have done this video for 3 minutes, but I hope that gives you a good explanation. I'll work on the next video on explaining specifically how to use time frames for swing trading, day trading, and weekly swings. So I hope that helps. Thanks for asking.